Imagine training just twice a week and standing shoulder to shoulder with the best bodybuilders in the world on the Mr. Olympia stage. It sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what one bodybuilder did, earning a stunning 5th place finish in the competition. In this video, we're going to reveal the incredible story of this dedicated bodybuilder, the unusual training approach he followed, and the secrets behind his remarkable success.
But an important point, Anthony, I did not train for hours and hours every day, and this is an important issue.
Oh, okay.
Contrary to what most bodybuilders do, which is train 2 to 4 hours a day, 7 days a week, to obtain that condition, I trained literally for 30 minutes 4 times a week, 2 hours a week.
Mike Mentzer, a name that's still remembered in the bodybuilding world, even years after his prime. He was not just a strong bodybuilder, he was a genius and a mystery wrapped into one. What made him stand out from other bodybuilders was his unique perspective on what it meant to be a man. For Mike, being a man was all about achievement, strength, and nobility. It was about reaching your highest potential and being proud of what you could become. Despite facing many challenges in his career, Mentzer remained a respected figure in the bodybuilding community. He was always dedicated to his beliefs and stood by them, even when others disagreed. His views were often different from mainstream ideas about training and bodybuilding, but that's what made him special. Mentzer believed that we all have the power to achieve great things if we put in the effort and have the right mindset. He saw the human body as a powerful tool that could be sculpted and perfected with the right approach. In his eyes, bodybuilding was more than just lifting weights and growing muscles. It was about transforming oneself into a better version of oneself, both physically and mentally. This idea of achievement, strength, and nobility was not just a philosophy for Mentzer. It was a way of life. He trained hard, pushed himself to the limits, and always tried to be the best version of himself. Even when things got tough, he never gave up. He kept pushing forward and striving for greatness. Mike Mentzer was born in 1951 in a small town called Ephrata, Pennsylvania. From a young age, he had a fascination with physical strength and fitness. At just 12 years old, he started bodybuilding. He was inspired by the muscular and powerful figures he saw in fitness magazines. He couldn't help but admire their hard work, dedication, and the incredible results they achieved. In 1965, when Mike was 14 years old, he attended the first ever Mr. Olympia contest. The Mr. Olympia contest is the biggest and most prestigious bodybuilding competition in the world. The sight of the contestants, with their well-defined muscles and incredible physiques, left a deep impression on young Mike. That's when he made up his mind. He was going to become Mr. Olympia himself. Mike began working towards his dream with determination. He started training harder, pushing himself to the limit. He learned about different workouts, nutrition, and the importance of rest and recovery. He was dedicated to improving himself and reaching his goal of becoming Mr. Olympia. He was eager to prove to himself and the world that he could achieve greatness. Mike Mentzer entered his first bodybuilding competition in 1969, when he was only 18 years old. Even though he was young, he had been training for several years and was ready to test his skills against other competitors. He was excited and nervous, but he knew that this was the first step towards achieving his dream of becoming Mr. Olympia. In 1971, a couple of years later, Mike Mentzer's life took a significant turn. He met 2 important people in the bodybuilding world, Casey Viator and Arthur Jones. Casey was a famous bodybuilder, and Arthur was a renowned trainer who created a new type of training called high-intensity training. Arthur believed that the most effective way to build muscle was to work out with very heavy weights for a short time, but with maximum effort. Mike was impressed by their ideas and decided to try high-intensity training. He noticed a big difference in his results and began to believe in the power of this new training method. He started training harder than ever before, lifting heavier weights and pushing his body to its limits. He was focused on his goal and determined to become the best bodybuilder he could be. In the next few years, Mike Mentzer achieved incredible success in bodybuilding competitions. In 1975, he won the Junior Mr. America title, a significant achievement that showed he was on the right track. That same year, he also won the prestigious Mr. America competition, a remarkable accomplishment that confirmed his talent and dedication to the sport. These victories made him a rising star in the bodybuilding world, and people started to take notice of his incredible physique. Mike's early achievements in bodybuilding were not just a result of his hard work and dedication, they were also a testament to the effectiveness of high-intensity training. Mike had found a training method that worked for him, and he was determined to make the most of it. He continued to train hard, constantly pushing his limits and striving for perfection. Mike Mentzer made a significant change in his bodybuilding training methods when he adopted high-intensity training, which was a shift from the high-volume, high-frequency training that many bodybuilders used at the time. High-intensity training focused on shorter but much harder workouts. Mike believed that the best way to build muscle was to train with maximum effort and then give the muscles enough time to recover and grow. This was very different from the long, grueling workouts that many other bodybuilders were doing. Mike developed his own unique version of high-intensity training, which he called heavy duty. His heavy-duty routine was intense, brief, and focused on getting the maximum results in the shortest time. He believed that you should train hard, to the point of obliterating your muscles, and then move on to the next exercise or finish the workout. An example of Mike's heavy-duty routine might include a single set of leg presses, where he would push himself to lift as heavy a weight as possible for as many reps as he could. He would then quickly move on to another exercise like leg curls, again doing a single intense set. The whole workout might only last 20-30 minutes, but it would be extremely challenging and push his body to the limit. This approach was different from what many other bodybuilders were doing. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger was famous for his high-volume, high-frequency training. He would often do multiple sets of each exercise and train for hours every day. He believed in the pump and would often do lighter weights for high reps to achieve it. Arnold's approach was about volume and endurance, while Mike's was about intensity and efficiency. Mike Mentzer's heavy-duty training was revolutionary at the time. It went against the mainstream approach and many people were skeptical. But Mike had the results to back it up. His incredible physique and success in bodybuilding competitions proved that his methods worked. He had a devoted following of fans and fellow bodybuilders who adopted his heavy-duty training.
The workout, you must understand, audience, doesn't actually produce muscular growth. Remember, the workout is a stimulus. The workout merely stimulates the body's growth mechanism into motion. It is the body itself that produces the growth, but only if left undisturbed by further exercise stress during a sufficient rest period.
When he was training for Mr. Olympia 1980, Mike Mentzer would only work out 2 times per week, training once and resting for 4 days. His workout routine looks like this. Day 1, chest, shoulders, triceps, with the following exercises: dumbbell fly, incline press, dumbbell lateral raise, bent over lateral raise, lying triceps extension, dips. Day 2, lats, traps, lower back, biceps, with the following exercises: pullovers, close grip, palms up, pull down, bent over barbell row, bicep curl. Day 3, legs, abs with the following exercises: leg extension, leg press, leg curl, standing calf raise, sit up. Mentzer worked up to 1 all-out set of failure, typically lasting for 6 to 9 reps for each exercise. He was a big proponent of less is more.
Number 3, keep your sets low. Never do more than 5 sets per body part. As you continue to progress, I suppose it's somewhat natural to want to add more and more to your workout because your enthusiasm is growing and your energy is burgeoning. However, perhaps the most important exercise you can perform is the exercise of restraint. Restraining that tendency to always want to do more.
Mike Mentzer also had a unique approach to nutrition that was rooted in his belief in objectivism and a desire to verify everything for himself. He wasn't satisfied with following the popular dieting advice of his time. Instead, he took a scientific approach to nutrition, believing that the key to successful dieting was counting calories. Mentzer was quoted as saying that it doesn't hurt to eat refined carbohydrates as long as there's a caloric deficit. This was a controversial stance, especially in a time when bodybuilders were advised to stick to whole foods and avoid refined carbohydrates. Mentzer's belief was that as long as you were consuming fewer calories than you were burning, you could still lose weight, even if you were eating foods considered unhealthy. Mentzer's calorie counting approach might seem familiar to those in the "if it fits your macros" community, which became popular in the 2010s. This approach is similar to Mentzer's in that it focuses on counting calories and macronutrients rather than restricting certain foods. However, it wasn't until the rise of the "if it fits your macros" community that this approach gained widespread acceptance. Although Mentzer's dietary protocols weren't popular at the time, he firmly believed in them and followed them himself. He didn't let the criticisms of others sway his opinions. Instead, he did his research and followed the protocols that he believed were right for him. Mentzer was known for questioning the status quo and going against the grain, both in his training methods and his nutritional protocols. It is needless to say, Mike Mentzer had a huge impact on the world of bodybuilding. He was a man with remarkable achievements, including getting a perfect score at the 1978 Mr. Universe contest and winning the heavyweight division at the 1979 Mr. Olympia. These accomplishments show how skilled he was as a bodybuilder. However, despite his successes, Mentzer isn't always considered a legend in the bodybuilding world by some fans. One reason for this is that he retired from competitive bodybuilding in 1980 when he was just 29 years old. He stepped away from the sport when he was at the peak of his career, leaving many fans wondering what could have been if he had continued to compete. After Mike Mentzer retired from competitive bodybuilding in 1980, he still had a lot to offer to the world. He became a writer, sharing his ideas and thoughts on bodybuilding. He wrote books and articles where he discussed his training philosophy and techniques. His writing became popular and helped many bodybuilders improve their training. Mentzer also worked with Arthur Jones, the man who had introduced him to high-intensity training. Together, they developed new workout machines and helped spread the word about high-intensity training. However, their relationship ended because of differences in their ideas and approaches. During the 1980s, Mentzer faced some challenges. The International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, IFBB, a major organization in the world of bodybuilding, unofficially blacklisted him. This meant that he wasn't welcome at their events and couldn't work with their athletes. Because of this, Mentzer's income dropped to zero. He had to find other ways to make a living. Despite these challenges, Mentzer kept going. He continued to share his ideas through his writing and worked with individual athletes who wanted to learn from him. His dedication to his ideas and the sport of bodybuilding helped him to keep going, even when times were tough. Mentzer's legacy is still alive today. His ideas on high-intensity training continue to influence bodybuilders. People still use his training methods to build muscle and get stronger. One of the most popular bodybuilders that ever graced the sport, Dorian Yates, is a big believer in this training method. Mentzer's dedication to the sport and his unique ideas left a lasting impact on the world of bodybuilding. He will always be remembered as a bodybuilding genius who changed the way people think about training.